series that began on Wednesday with a visit from the prophet Joel to our service. Today we hear the testimony of Eve.
I'll never be able to put on enough clothes. It's much colder here than I'm used to. But that's not it. I do love beautiful clothes. I'm just so afraid that you will see me. I'm so afraid that you will see me for who I really am. I'm so afraid that you will see me for the flawed and foolish human that I really am. I'm afraid to be naked. Of course, I'm talking about clothing, but it's much more than that. I'm afraid to be exposed, to be uncovered, to be vulnerable. I know how fragile and foolish we humans can be, and it scares me to death. I will do almost anything to cover up, to be protected from the insecurities of life. I thought I had the problem solved. We would be just like God. Then all the worrying and wonders would be over. And so we ate of the fruit of that tree. And suddenly we could see. We could see that the world was a risky proposition. We could see that we were little, limited, lonely. We could see that we were in danger of dying. Most of all, we could see ourselves. Up to that moment, we had been wonderfully unaware of ourselves. We were unself-conscious in the best possible way. God was good and the world was wonderful. We had no reason to pay attention to ourselves, and then we reached out for that tree. We wanted to be like God. Oh, we got our wish all right. In a flash, we could see everything. We looked down and discovered that we were naked. We were afraid to be naked, so we covered ourselves up as best we could. How did it happen? I know that every explanation turns into justification, and I know that every self-description turns into self-defense. And I know that every time I tell this story, I become less of a villain and more of a hero. But over and over, I think about how life could have been different. I divide my actions into smaller and smaller pieces. The fruit on the tree was good for food. By itself, that's a fine thing. Besides, the fruit on that tree was just so pretty. And the garden. It was this big, complicated place. We just weren't smart enough to manage it all. So I thought it would be good to be wise. Isn't that what the Lord God wanted for us? I lost sight of the bigger picture. Each of the little pieces was fine on its own, and all of a sudden, we were eating of that fruit. That's often how it is. I was just following orders. Someone says, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Someone else says, it's all for the good of the cause, says someone else. And suddenly, you're at the point of no return. Besides, I just wanted to help. The man and I were made for each other. The Lord God looked at all the things in creation and called them all very good. There was just one thing that got the label of not good. The only not good thing was being alone. So the Lord God made us for one another. I think of the first words that I heard from this man. These words were a love song, and they moved me to tears when I think about them. This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of man this one was taken. That man was my partner. I just wanted to make life easier for him. The fruit seemed to be the perfect way to do that. I developed kind of a tunnel vision. I could see that fruit. I could see my husband, but I couldn't see anyone or anything else. But there it is again. It's so easy to justify my bad actions. Perhaps I'm defending my family or my religion or my way of life. Maybe I'm just trying to punish the really bad people in the world. Maybe I just needed to protect my loved one from his or her bad judgment. I might think that my views are right and others are wrong. I begin with the best of intentions and I end with the worst of results. Well, that's not the whole story. It's too easy to come up with good reasons for what we did. We learn so quickly to play fast and loose with the truth. The first human words in the Bible are a love song. The next human words are half a lie. The Lord God told us not to eat the fruit. God said nothing about whether we could touch the fruit. I threw that in just to make it sound a little more serious. Already we were trying to have higher standards than God. That was the real problem. The serpent said, "You will be like God." That was enough for us. We were sold. Everything else was icing on the cake. We desired the fruit on that tree. It's not that desire on its own is a bad thing. The Lord God created us with all kinds of desires. We desired a relationship with God. We desired a life with one another. We desired the best for our little garden. But then our desires got off track. We stopped desiring God's love, and we started desiring God's power. Our desires became disordered, and life as we knew it came to an end. We were naked, and we knew it. We stitched together some organic underwear, and we began a lifetime of hiding from God. Sometimes I can almost remember what it was like before. We walked and we talked with the Lord God. The Lord God saw us clearly. The Lord God knew us through and through. Being known was a delight, not a terror. The Lord God was our friend, not our foe. Then all of that changed. No, we changed all of it. The Lord God called to us, and we tried to become invisible. That seems almost funny now. There's no place that God could not see. But this was the depth of our fear and delusion. We thought we could fool the Lord God by hiding in some bushes. We were so afraid that the Lord God would see us. We were so afraid that the Lord God would see us for who we really are. We are so afraid that the Lord God would see us for that flawed and foolish human that we really are. That is precisely what happened. We were naked before the Lord God. Naked in emotions, intentions, actions. A psalm writer has put it this way: "O Lord, you have searched and known me. You have known when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways." I thought that would be the end of it. The Lord God knew us through and through. I thought that we had opened the door to evil, a door that could never be closed. It is true that we are part of a great battle between evil and good, sin and salvation, death and life. It is also true that the Lord God will never leave us or forsake us, and at the end of our story, the Lord God made real clothing for us. Now, you might not think that's a big deal, but hear me out. God could have abandoned us to our foolishness and fear. God could have allowed us to just fend for ourselves. God could have walked away from this failed experiment. But God did not. And God does not. When you put on your clothes, I want you to think about this. God promised that my offspring would fight the great battle and overcome the powers of sin, death, and evil. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but now I do. The Lord God has put on our vulnerable human life. The Lord God has been clothed with humanity. One of your New Testament writers put it this way: since, therefore, the children share flesh and blood, he himself likewise shared the same things, that through death he might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is, the devil, and free those who are all their lives were held in slavery by the fear of death. There's no point in hiding from God. There is nowhere to hide. The Lord God has become one of us so that he can stop us from being afraid. More than that, we can fight that battle that comes to us. Jesus knows our suffering better than we know it ourselves. That same New Testament writer put it like this: because he himself was tested by what he has suffered, he is able to help those who are being tested. So we don't need to wrap ourselves in this worry and fear. We can take off those heavy garments of sin and evil. We can stand in these white robes of righteousness. We will not be naked in the face of temptation. God sees us as we are, and he loves us back to life.